What do we want? Change. When do we want it? Now. How do we get it? By being a fucking disruptor.
Yes.
So are you a disruptor?
Hey, Soul Warriors, we want to welcome you to our podcast. Soul Intentions is here to drop the wisdom, tools, and real life experiences that helped us transform our lives so that we can shine without the struggle. We want to share everything we have learned so that you can do the same.
You a disruptor?
I am.
I am too. I've been one my whole freaking life.
Mm-hmm.
It's pushing boundaries. It's living outside the box. It's knowing who I am and what works for me and what doesn't. Being creative and innovative. And it's such an exciting place to sit in disruptor energy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've always questioned the status quo consistently. Like, why do I have to do this? Why it's been what it's been. This is how we do things. The bullshit of it's um like a heritage or whatever, whatever you want to apply to that. All those answers for me never fit and never sat well. So I was consistently challenging it. Why?
And you'll know when you are one because the external world will let you know because they want you back in your box.
Yeah.
They want you to conform. So if you're being called, I mean, it's known by many, many different names, rebel, troublemaker. I've been called a bubble burster.
Yeah.
I think you gave me that name,
I
actually.
did actually.
You did.
Because it was quite funny to watch you pop when people came to you with certain things and you're like, yeah, no. But you would ask questions that would really shift and make people think, are you really here for this reason, like you said? Or are you here because it's a quote unquote change and it's making you feel happy again?
Yeah, a lot of people would come and they're having like a relationship issue or they hate their job. And then it's like, I'm in love again. And I'm like, 5 minutes ago,
Mhm.
you were way over here, like heartbroken and pining. And now you're in love again. Like, can it happen? Absolutely.
Mhm.
But I have a lot of questions on how that happened. I
Yeah.
think it's simply the need for change.
Yeah. And we can apply being disruptive or a disruptor in our mindset, in our feelings, in our curiosity. Like, really challenge yourself. Apply this disruptor energy into really finding out about yourself, because I think that that's important. That was the exciting part about doing this particular podcast, because you get to question a lot. You get to question what truly makes you happy, what is it that you truly want, what do you really want to create. I mean, there's a difference between what you're thinking and what you're actually feeling.
Mm.
And if they're completely opposite of each other, then a lot of it won't manifest. And the only way in which that kind of shakes it all up and see what lands is by being a disruptor and like really questioning yourself and really being completely honest with yourself as far as how does this work for me. And you don't have to do the same shit generation after generation after generation. Really, you don't. Exactly. Be a disruptor and do something different. Do the things that you want to do. And of course, with kindness, with respect, because being a disruptor isn't about being an asshole. An innovator, the solution building, things like that, versus it being like, "Ugh," that kind of energy to it.
Yeah, because often we really focus on the problem. Like every
Mhm.
time I go to, I don't know, pick a random holiday, it's like this, and I don't like it, and I don't have fun, and this cousin's going to do that, and then this uncle's going to do that. And it's just like you already know it's a routine, it's not enjoyable. And so you have a whole resistance behind it, which just adds to
Yeah.
the ick of the whole situation.
Mhm.
So what can your solutions be? Um, like we had a really tough family Christmas one year
Mm.
because a family member was not there. So we attempted being an innovator, being a disruptor. We switched up the menu. We
Mhm.
brought what was it, like an escape room in a box game or something,
Yep.
just to get everybody doing something different than what we usually do.
Mhm.
Like, and I mean, we liked Christmas and we liked some of the routine that we did, but
Mhm.
it needed to be shaken up, so that we could have new energy. And honestly, it was one of our favorite Christmases
Yeah.
ever. We
Yeah.
truly missed the person that wasn't there.
Mhm.
Um, but we had a good time.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was so, oh, God, invigorating. It was, I can't even give you all the words. It was so awesome
Mhm.
to be in happy energy again around a holiday that we love.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what the true meaning of being a disruptor is. You
Mhm.
know, it's about finding solutions to something that isn't fitting well in your life, in your whatever. You know, just really finding that space. And I mean, it's like I've spent a lot of time asking people, like, you know, what does Thanksgiving represent to you? What does Christmas represent to you? And a lot of, I get the patent answer, but and then I'm like, but no, really, like, what do you like about it? Like, what is it that you really want? Not, don't give me the, this is what we've done most of my life. This is all this stuff. I don't want to hear that. I want to know, what is it about Thanksgiving that you enjoy? Like, and if you don't, verbalize that. You know, and what about it don't you like? Because a lot of times we conform to the bullshit.
Yeah, it's not serving your soul
No.
or the souls around you. So really, how can you shake things up? You first want to start doing it
Hmm.
internally. Push yourself out of
Comfort zone.
your comfort zone, push yourself out of the, I get up and I do this and 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 this until I get to go to bed again.
Hmm.
And you're just bored out of your skull. Like, this is your time to be creative and to express who you are. So how can you lean into things like she already talked about your vision? Like, what's your vision of who you are, and what's your vision of what you want to do in this world?
Hmm.
And it could be as simple as something like, I want to paint. um, I like to garden, like whatever it is. It doesn't have to be like, I'm going to save the world. I mean, that's a whole archetypal
Yeah.
topic that's been ingrained into all of us through movies and books, and that we all have to save the world. You save the world by doing your special sauce,
Yeah, exactly.
period.
I mean, and the world would benefit from it, because it is who you are. It is what makes you happy, which in then turn it brings happiness to other people around you. So you want to live in that kind of light. Like, I've was told most of my life that I needed to be X, Y, and Z, you know, at fill in the blank. And I was consistently saying, yeah, no,
Yep. That's not me.
not liking it, not my gig. And I did that throughout my life, and I got a lot of resistance for doing that too. But I stood solid in my um, conviction in how I knew how I wanted to feel. And that was the biggest thing for me. I knew exactly how I wanted to feel in any given situation. So when anytime something was happening where I didn't feel that, I was like, I'm out. Not my gig.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna do that. And they're like, oh, but this is what we do as a family and blah 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 blah. I get it, but not feeling it. Not doing it. And that's how it kind of rolled for me most of the time. And but at the end of it all, I think it benefited me a lot better, or I should say, it fit me a lot better
Mm-hmm.
than going with the status quo, because that wasn't working for me.
And understand, you will get resistance. It's just part of it,
Mm-hmm.
because some people are afraid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, it makes them look at themselves and they don't want to look at what they're not doing, so they don't want to see you excelling. um I mean, let's look at some famous disruptors as examples.
Mm.
I'm going to use Martin Luther King and Donald Trump.
Mm.
Interesting. Disruptor or being disruptive,
Yeah.
it's all about perception. It's
Mm-hmm.
what your perspective is on it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, some people wanted to shut down and shut up MLK
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't like what he was speaking. Other people were inspired and empowered and hopeful because of it. Like two totally different feelings around it. A very, fear-based one and a very inspirational one on the same exact person, just being a disruptor, because them being them and them speaking their truth was bringing about change. So anytime there's change, people get nervous and people will start like, and your internal self will too.
Yeah.
The ego, especially, the ego is infamous for like, oh, nope, 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 nope.
Yeah.
So you think the ego is being your disruptor? Mm-mm.
And
you living from your soul is a disruptor to the ego.
And the funny part is that Donald Trump was doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Only in his own special sauce.
His own special sauce.
And
I mean, love him or hate him, because he was just being him.
Yeah. He was being a true disruptor. He was challenging the status quo. Yep. And a lot of us didn't like it.
And the very reason he got elected is because a lot of people wanted change.
Yeah.
That's how he got in there. And then we're like, I'm not saying I voted for him at all whatsoever.
Everybody wanted change during that time, and we sure as hell got it.
We did. We
got it in a very interesting way. And if you step back from all of it, you would see that he was doing his fucking job. Bottom line, he was doing his job, and at the same time, creating awareness to things that we probably would have never known.
And at the same time, I think he was being very disruptive.
Yeah, he was doing that too. I think he was doing both sides of the coin.
Yeah, because he can't control himself.
Yeah,
again, my perspective. Like, there's no right or wrong in any of this,
which is completely different from all the shit. All the other presidents that we've had. But I like the way I like the way in which he was able to just go in there and turn the whole political system on his ass, pretty much, and have people really question, like, is this okay? Is this not okay? And all those things. He really made people question that.
And I mean, that's what creates the change, is when there's a mass amount of us all believing one way or the other. And it
yeah.
I mean, sadly, it divided a lot, but at the same time, it activated a lot of people who weren't activated before.
I don't believe that it divided a lot. I think the division was already there. I think what it did is it shed light to the division that was already being amplified.
Or is the division just what we're being spoon-fed?
True. Again,
because I mean, I'll help anybody bleeding on the street. I don't care. I don't ask, like, who did you vote for and what do you believe in first? Exactly. Like, I don't give a shit. I will help somebody, and most people will. We're shown a lot of the people that won't all the time, but a lot of people are just, they're compassionate.
Yeah.
I want to give you a quick message before we get back to this episode. Unlock the secrets of your soul for free with Soul Notes. Say goodbye to feeling stuck and hello to the validation of your alignment. These weekly prompts are filled with reminders, gentle nudges, and sometimes a kick in the ass, all with love from your soul. Don't just take our word for it. Try Soul Notes for yourself and see the difference it can make in your life. Trust us, your soul and you will thank you. Just go to soulnote.org. That's SOULNOTE.org. Now back to our podcast. At heart. Yeah. So, technologies can be great disruptors too. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if you're having a hard time with it within yourself, or having a hard time with somebody in your life that you feel like is a disruptor, take a little step back from it, get a little distance by looking at historical figures, since history does come back around again and again, or technology. So when the internet first came out, people were like, I don't need a website. Or when YouTube first got invented, like, I don't need to create a video for my business. Like, I have business cards.
And now it's completely changed the way we function, from, from letters to email, to, having access to so many other things that we'd have never would have had access to. being able to, talk to someone from across the world, on
Yeah.
video, through the internet, you name it, it completely revolutionized what we thought life was.
Right. Like when Uber came
Yeah.
out,
Yeah,
like
that's another
totally
thing.
disrupted the taxi industry. And a
Yeah.
lot of people push back, like taxi drivers won't have work anymore. And it's
Yeah.
like just things just keep evolving. There's always work, just in evolving different ways.
Exactly. And the whole now the whole world of AI.
AI and the
There,
blockchain.
there are people that love it. There are people that hate it. There are people that think that it's, I don't know, some bullshit out there. But it's here and it's here to stay because it's part of the evolution of shit. Whether we like it or not, that's the way it works.
And the people
And
who are leading that are true disruptors.
yeah, for sure, absolutely. They're challenging you to think different, be different, act differently, and do more critical thinking, if you will.
Yes, we've gotten too far away from that because
Yeah.
of social media a lot and
Yeah. I
the
mean,
digital
we
age.
need to get back to that critical thinking because that's what makes us who we are. So,
So that's one thing about a disruptor is that they're decisive.
yeah.
So you need to practice being decisive. You're constantly. Robert Frost. I love poetry.
Mm,
Wrote "The Road Not Taken." Two
yeah.
roads diverged in the yellow woods. Um, it was basically written as a joke because him and his friend were hiking in the woods and they came across a path and they had to pick which way to go. And they wished they had taken the other way. So he wrote this joke poem to his friend, and then it was presented at a college and everybody took it super seriously and like, oh my god, that is so deep. It is true. I must take the road not taken, or I always take the well-worn path. Like it became this whole thing. But it's a perfect thing for life because you're constantly coming up from decisions every 5 seconds or more. You're making hundreds of decisions.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just pick it and you go with it. And 9 out of 10 times, if it has to do with deep personal stuff, it's the road that's less traveled that you want to go down because that's
Hmm.
yours. The well worn path is what everybody else has done and what you maybe know. It's not you.
Hmm.
So you a lot of times are forging out and you're like hacking through deep brush because you haven't been there a lot and you're making that path. Or maybe
Yeah.
it's just a tiny little path because you've, tiptoed through it a few times.
Yeah. In doing the research, there's a part that I'll read to you guys. Disruptors understand that change is not just inevitable; it's necessary.
Absolutely.
Listen, we're consistently changing. I know a lot of us sit in the I like the way things are. You sit in that, but you can sit there and that's fine, and you can pretend that nothing's changing, but everything is changing around you
Constantly.
all the time. You're changing around yourself all the time, whether you want to admit it to yourself or not, because that's what it's all about. We need to be able to grow. We need to be able to challenge. We need to be able to to create things that aren't created yet. So it's like, yeah, I totally loved that part of the research because
Yeah.
I feel like that's so deeply ingrained in me.
Yep.
That I want to create change in myself, in my environment, in whatever I possibly can, because it feels like there's always something more. And I want to know what that more is, because of the curiosity in me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if it makes me a better, fuller person, I'm there.
I'm a very fabulous talk to myself type of person.
She is.
I am. I do it all the time.
This is why sometimes when she's talking to me, I don't realize it because she's always talking. I don't know if she's talking to herself
Or the cat.
or the cat or me. Usually when I let my guard down just enough, that's when she's actually talking to me,
Yeah.
and it becomes a thing. But whatever.
Yeah.
I digressed.
It's a marathon. It's a marathon to keep up with me. I get it. I get it. So how can you lean into being very adaptable and not holding so hard to what you know and who you are? How can you be comfortable accepting that, like, hey, I'm constantly changing? And
Yeah.
how exciting is that? because it's always new.
Hmm.
Like, you don't have to be who you were 5 minutes ago. So if you don't maybe like how you just behaved over here, or what you said over there, or how you performed just now, like, you have this moment, this new moment to do it again
Yeah.
any way you want.
Hmm.
It's like just amazing. Like, you're constantly like a giant etch a sketch where new moment,
Yeah.
blank screen, do what you want, new moment, like over and over and over again.
Take that stand of where, when change is coming about, that you get excited. You know, you think about it. Okay, here comes the disruptor. Yay. What am I going to learn? What's going to happen? I'm open. And I know that you're probably saying, "Oh, Wolf, you're full of shit." No, I'm not. Literally do that and see what happens, because there's a different outcome that will happen when you're open to the shit that might be coming towards you, versus you doing no. Because then it's hitting you in a very different way. When you're saying, okay, fine, okay, here, let's do this, you're gonna have a whole different kind of attitude. Your mind is open, your heart's open, your spirit's open, and you're able to take in whatever change is happening. And that's the brilliant part about being a disruptor, or coming across one. Uh, your
Ooh.
resilience in it is the key. And boy, we are resilient people.
Let me tell you a story about a disruptor that I just met yesterday.
Mm.
Little Isaac
Mhm.
just turned 4 years old. Now, amazing to find a 4-year-old disruptor, not disruptive kid where the parents are like, just stay in your high chair, Isaac. Like, no, this is a little boy that came and got me and said, I need to show you something. And there were these little tiny chairs about this big, and they were all nailed into the wall. And he's like, look. And I'm like, oh, cool. How many chairs are there, Isaac? And he's like, there's 2 with square backs, there's 3 with round backs, but the 3 that with the round backs aren't the same because one has a broken leg. So there's really technically 2 round backs. And it just went on and on and on, like all this calculations. And I was like, oh, okay, not typical. All right.
Mhm.
Who do you think sits in these little tiny chairs, Isaac? Like little people, like a molecule, probably a molecule. And I'm like, okay, I'm not speaking to your in the box stereotypical kid.
Yeah.
And I glanced at the person with them, or the 2 people that with him, and they're like, mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, special. All right.
Mhm.
And I said, well, maybe when you grow up someday, Isaac, you can fix the chair with the broken leg. Why would I do that? That's not my job. How do you know that's not your job? Because we all know what our jobs are. We do. He goes, we all come in knowing what our jobs are. He goes, I don't understand why all these people like have to bury themselves in stuff to forget about it and then act like they don't know, because we all know. He goes, but that's not my job. And why would I do that and take it away from the person whose job is to fix furniture and make that a whole chair again? That's
He's
not mine.
4.
He just turned 4. And I'm like, so what's your job, Isaac? I'm thinking he's going to say rocket science or something, or Superman, or like what, that's what a a stereotypical kid would say.
Mm.
And he says, I'm going to be an artist and a builder. And I'm like, that is very cool. What are you going to build? Like houses? And I get this look, big giant buildings. And I get this other look. And he goes, why do you all have to be like, is it this stereotypical thing, or is it that? And then that's it. He goes, and why would I build something that's already here, that a bunch of people already do? Like, why would I come here to do what everybody else does? He didn't understand. Very, very good point. That's a disruptor.
Mhm.
And he's like, I'm going to invent new things. That's why I'm here. I'm going to invent new things, and I'm going to use my art and my building skills, and I'm going to build brand new things that help people and make me happy and make them happy. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, and I'm Isaac, 5 letters, ISAAC.
I
And I'm
love it.
like, okay. And he goes, can you please tell me your name, how many letters, and how to spell it? And I'm like, sure, I'm Tara. I'm sorry, 4 letters, Tara. And he repeats it back to me. It was the most interesting, amazing, reminding conversation that we all do come in here and we know, and deep down we know, and we have piled on all these layers. It's refreshing to find a little human that is like, why do you all do that?
Yeah.
Like, that's a damn good question, Isaac.
Kudos to the parents, man, for nourishing
all
that.
the people around him that are nourishing this little soul, like, so fucking, so beautiful.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
amazing. Like, perfect. Like, this is a disruptor. He is here. He knows what he's going to do. He knows how he's going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't care that, you know, whatever, everybody else doesn't get it. I don't care. I know what my thing is. And I'm not taking other people's space.
Mhm.
Like, to know that he didn't want to fix that chair, because why would he do that to somebody else?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Because
awesome.
everybody here is wearing everybody else's shoes all the damn time, Isaac. That's why I'm asking.
That is so
But
awesome.
yeah, amazing little teacher.
So
Be
in
like
conclusion
Isaac.
to all this stuff, you know, be a disruptor. Let me read something to you. Being a disruptor is about having a solid vision,
Mm-hmm.
courage,
Yes.
and determination to challenge the status quo and drive meaningful change. It requires a commitment to innovation and responsible disruption. Now go out there, disrupt the fuck out of life, and make it amazing. Be kind.
Peace.
Peace.